Hey all, this is Anton. Welcome back to our Bayonetta playthrough. Well, the story went off without a hitch, but I've no idea of what to expect when it comes to extras. Richie and I haven't discussed this, so what are we tackling in the first of these two extra videos, mate?
So, if you manage to stay towards right at the end of the credits in the last part, you will have seen that having gotten my wonderful platinum ranking, my straight platinums throughout the board, I unlocked Jean as a playable character, and because I beat all of the HellfireComms, I also unlocked a special chapter called the Lost Chapter Angel Slayer. Which is awesome. Also, one of the quite fun things is that once you've beaten the game, whenever you go onto the Bayonetta title screen, a different character will say the name every now and again.
Nice.
So I think that might have been, it was either actual English Cereza, or it might have been Japanese Cereza, I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was a Devil May Cry reference, because that's what it put me in mind of.
No, you can have Luca say it, you can have Boulder say it, you can have Enzo say it. It's just a nice little touch. Now, the other thing that I want to do is, since I'm here, and since I have some halos and I'm not actually going to be using much, I want to purchase the Super Mirror, because, and probably some of the Umbran Elegances, because I want to show off the idea of costumes.
Okay.
So, I am actually going to wear a costume for this Angel Slayer chapter, so if you buy the Super Mirror, then you can buy any of these couture bullets, which allow you to go into different outfits. For the majority of these, because they aren't made of Bayonetta's hair, when she goes into her climax attacks, the hair doesn't actually come off her, because, well, her clothes don't come off her because it's not made of her hair.
Even more of an
I know, it's basically why whenever Jean was doing it, that's why her clothes stayed on, because they were actual clothes.
Okay.
So yes, it was just like, right, let's just try and make sure I get some stuff in. Like, I know for a fact, I can tell you now, I'm not making it through to the end of the Lost Chapter, because I think it's about 50 verses, I think. It's 5 rounds of 10, of increasing difficulty as you go. And it gets really hard very quickly.
Oh, beautiful.
So, yes, in the Switch version of the game, you have automatic access to the Nintendo costumes, which are amazing. They've all got their own quirks. The Super Mirror is what you had in the original game, so you had sort of the Komachi outfits and so on and so forth. And because, I feel like it, we're going to go for the Hero of Hyrule outfit to take on the Lost Chapter.
I think if Bayonetta 3 has a similar costume system, they should throw in some stuff from Wonderful 101.
That would be amazing. Like, seriously, if they do that, they need to have a Wonder Pink outfit.
Yeah, exactly.
For Bayonetta.
Or Sylvia.
I mean, do you mean Sylvia from Beautiful Joe?
Yeah, of course.
They do actually have an outfit in this game that is effectively Sylvia.
Ah, well, okay then, shut my mouth.
So yes, the really cool thing about the Link outfit in this game, the Hero of Hyrule, is that if you have Sharaba out, you have the bloody Master Sword. That's
great. Also, I'm giggling like a little schoolgirl because I can finally, in a fucking non-Zelda LP, make the joke, I can't believe Zelda is finally a girl.
That's amazing. The other really awesome thing with this is that in having the Hero of Hyrule outfit and the sword, it actually gives you the ability to use the block and parry sort of maneuver, which you would normally get with the Moon and Mahakala. Which is a reason why I think a lot of people do actually like having the Hero of Hyrule outfit on. The other thing, as you may have noticed, is that if you have it on, the halos turn into rupees.
Yep.
And also, if you're actually wearing it in the main game itself, then whenever you open the chest, like the Umbran resting places up, then you'll get the da-da-da-da sound effect, which is gorgeous. If you wear either the Mushroom Kingdom Princess or Sarasaland Princess outfits, so Daisy and Peach, the halos will turn to rings instead, and also the Wicked Weaves that are normally Madama Butterfly are actually Bowser.
Woo!
Which is amazing. Then if you have Galactic Bounty Hunter, which is obviously Samus,
yep,
then using Beast Within you basically turns you into a morph ball, and you roll around like that. The Y button to the regular standard shoot when you're not actually attacking turns into sort of the laser blasters, and I think you can actually charge it up. And the other thing with that outfit, in this game specifically, if you're wearing it in any of the cutscenes, then what you can do is lower the visor by, I think it's pressing the down arrow on the D-pad, so you can raise it by pressing up, lower it with down.
That's funny. I'm doing a hard mode run right now with the Samus outfit, and I could never figure out how to trigger the visor in cutscenes.
Yeah, I think it's up and down on the D-pad, but I'm not 100% sure. One of the things that kind of annoys me is that it's not actually something you can do in the sequel, despite the fact that the outfit is there, which doesn't make any sense, but hey, that's just one of those things.
So how many floors of this malark are we going through, mate? Because we've got the friggin' ship's oh joy already, so I can't even imagine what it's going to be like 10 floors in.
We're going to be going through quite a lot, so basically, if I recall correctly, we get towards the end of the second round. I'm just going to get the list up on the Bayonetta wiki here. I mean, basically, the key things that most people would recommend is go to this when you've got your major weapons, all of the accessories under the sun, because it's going to give you the best chance of succeeding. So, using the punch kick punch is an excellent manoeuvre with Sharaba. That makes things quicker. Having Pillow Talk, which is an ultra-powerful version of Sharaba. Siphon, which is the nunchuck guns, is super fast and can stun lock smaller angels. If you have it alongside Kilgore, that gives you maximum damage. Odette is quite good because it can freeze enemies. Kilgore's obviously amazing. If you get enough halos to take on the optional boss fight, which is Rodan, and beat him, the weapon Rodan is amazing. There's also a weapon called Bazillions, which is basically a laser gun, which can shoot off like many laser beams at once, which is just brilliant damage. In terms of accessories, Star of Dinetta, which is the one which replenishes your health when you taunt enemies. That can be really helpful. Evil Harvest Rosary, which is basically you want to use for verse 4 and 5, because that way that's the bomb if you dodge at the right time to activate which you can't do on those difficulties. Moon of Mahakala for blocking. Pulley's Butterfly, because what happens with that is that enemies hit you, it just passes through and does no damage, but you lose a bit of magic. That's quite helpful. Bracelet of Time allows you to activate Witch Time whenever you want, which is useful in the later difficulties because then you can just do it whenever you like. And then Eternal Testimony is also quite helpful because it fills 2 orbs of magic as soon as your gauge is depleted. So that can kind of keep you building up and so on and so forth.
So is this all we're doing for the entire part?
Yes, it is. It's a fight all the way through, because that's just what this is.
Oh jeez.
It's a survival run, because as I said, there are 10 stages per verse. The first verse is played on normal mode, the second verse is on hard mode, the third verse is on hard mode, and then the final 2 verses are on non-stop infinite climax mode.
Oh boy.
So basically, for verse 1, first fight is 3 sets of Deer and Decorations, then you get 3 Applauds and Affinities, then 3 sets of Deer and Decorations and 2 Kinships, then Affinities, 4 Applauds, then 3 sets of Deer and Decorations and 3 Harmonies, then Affinities and 2 Beloveds, then Grace and 2 Glories, then Affinities and 3 Joys, then 2 Fairness and a Fearless, then 3 enchants and a boss fight, and it just ramps up from there to just, you get to final verse and you're effectively dealing with sort of similar enemies, but you've got burning enemies, gracious and glorious. If you manage to get to the end, then you actually have to take on a version of Bayonetta herself. So you fight yourself in this game if you manage to get to the end of the Lost Chapter.
So I guess just because we're fighting in one, I will give you carte blanche to go off on a bit of a tangent about something semi-related or just not related, just so we can get through the part. Do you have any topics you wish to address?
So one of the things that I'll just mention is that when you unlock Angel Slayer, the pose that Bayonetta takes on the screen is basically the same as that of Trish's from Devil May Cry.
Oh, brilliant.
Which is awesome. And then I suppose since you've given me free reign, and it's one of the things that I've always liked talking about, but never really, in this run anyway, gotten a chance to properly settle down and to talk about it, is the Enochian incantations that are used throughout the game. I know I mentioned it, but I never actually got to translate them all. So, got the lovely list here. I'm not sure it's 100% accurate, but we'll go with it. So whenever Bayonetta summons the Iron Maiden torture attack, she says Levithmong, which means Beast of the Field. The Guillotine torture attack is Pier Zixlay, which is Heavenly Ones all stirred up. The Pulley attack, where she kind of leaps into the air and pulls them down, is Piarif, which means Jaws. Tombstone one is Kiernon, which is Hell. The Wooden Pony is Mikmar, which is Behold. Then the Vice one that she uses for Grace and Glory, I think, is Alcrete, which means Fiery. The Wheel of Torture is Telok, which is Death. For Gamora, the dragon, it's Avavago, which is Thunders. Malphas the Crow is Agraos, which is the Moon of Darkness. Hexenhair, the Fists, is Afatarag Napta. Scolopendra, the Centipede, is Tlok Vovim, which is Dragon of Death. Did I say that Agraos was Moon of Darkness, Afatarag Napta is Sword of Dust? Then for Phantasmarine, it's Azazaz Piarif, which is Framed in the Depth of My Jaws. And then sort of the grand summon for Queen Sheba was Telok Vovim, Agraos Tabaord, Avavago, which is the fallen one of the Moon of Darkness. Let her be governed by that which thunders, which is pretty epic. What's also quite cool is that Jeanne has her own Enochian words that she uses. So, Iron Maiden torture attack is Emnaol, which is I herein make you. Guillotine Znerza, which is I swear. Tombstone and Wooden Pony is either Yulchi or Yolchi, which is bring forth. The chainsaw is Adrapan, which is cast down. For Gamora and also Scolopendra, it's Uxexra Clear, which is to vomit weeping. To summon Phantasmarine, it's Emna Ol Uxexra Clear, herein I make you vomit and weep. And then for Queen Sheba, it's Emna Ol Adrapan Adna Znerza Uxexra Clear. I herein make you cast down, swear your obedience, and vomit weeping. Which is all just really cool. And then also all of the angels speak Enochian as well. It's a lot more warped than Bayonetta's and Jean's, but they all say stuff as well. So you get Baltoha, which is for my own righteousness. Pamphicas, which we can't translate. Tolham Pradzar, which is all creatures diminish. Merk Vapar, upon the wings. Ethar, peace. Ethar Z, in peace. Teloklap Babalond, death for the harlot. Joy says Grospa, which is the bitter sting. And Zisoba Kompf, which is those whose number is. Temperantia says Faboan, poison. Babylon, wicked. Iahuzos, mercy his mercies. Donostegama, hellfire. And Soiga, will of God. Eastisha says Ama, curse or cursed. Voan, truth. Bam, forget, let them forget. Sapientia says Koronzon, which is demon or witch. And Jubileus says Yolchi, bringeth forth. Buzdeer, glory. Koma, trust you together. And Komsel, Konst. And then the final two pieces of Enochian that I have are Jubileus Karl Ovum Vumsag, which is the May Jubileus the Creator grace you. And then the last bit is actually from a bit of script that they put up on one of the Platinum Games blogs, which is a bit of dialogue from Fortitudo speaking to actually an unseen boulder at the beginning of Chapter 4. That's who... Well, actually, no, I'd say... No, it is Chapter 4. That's who he was speaking to. And he says, Non chi koronzon sispi koma gil gonsab bia mogemo krip koronzon eke emna apila brita ag, which is, you're most understood, our fate is tied with the demon world and we share your earnest interest in this matter. However, if she does not reach us alive, this conversation was all for naught. And that's all of the Enochian that is in this game, and that's been a pretty decent tangent, don't you think?
Yeah, pretty much. I guess I should do my fair share of talking now, so is there any topics you want me to address, mate? I'll do my very damnedest.
I don't really know. I suppose the thing that I'd be interested to know is, are you glad that you finally came back to the game and finally pushed your way through Chapter 5?
Yeah, I suppose I could give you a bit of insight into that. I think I only gave up back in the day because I was renting the game. If I had a chance to sit down with my own copy, I probably, through attrition at the very least, could have beaten it eventually. I'm not saying I would have been immediately some kind of magical savant and got through the trickier chapters of the game, but yeah, I'm really glad I came back to this, especially on the Switch, because I find myself, it's too much of a hassle for me to just sit down in front of a television, I find, and just
totally get that.
Play a game, like to the point where my anxiety will just not let me do it, and that's irrational. I know that's how anxiety works, it ain't rational, but all I have to do is pick up my Switch, and since it's like eternally in sleep mode anyway, I can just pick it up, it's already on, and boom, I can just pick it up, play a chapter, put it down, which is why I'm really looking forward to playing Bayonetta 2, because I'm not all that great at action games, but I found myself getting better at Bayonetta as I was going along, and I'm just spamming Witch Time at 24/7, so it definitely made me, like, doing the playthrough, want to play better, like, to be a better player, so, yeah.
I have succeeded in my job.
Well, you do that every single day, just by putting a smile on the faces of all the cherubs.
Aww, thank you so much, that's really sweet.
Well, it doesn't mean anything, it's a disingenuous comment, though.
It's true. Following on from that, I don't know whether you've seen any of it during... I mean, this verse just ended up... Well, this particular fight just ended up murdering me. I didn't realise enchants could be this deadly, but they are, and I hate them now.
Oh, I've run into them on... like certain tries getting through to a higher rank, that they can be nasty when they want to be.
Oh, they really can be. But yes, obviously, I've briefly mentioned taunts, but one of Bayonetta's taunts, which you can do in pretty much any outfit if you just hold down the taunt button, is she does this sort of long dance, and she goes, I have a fever, and the only cure is more dead angels.
Nice.
Which is obviously a cowbell reference, which I think is a really good one. It's a lot better than the one that's in the live-action Jungle Book. That made me cringe.
Do tell.
So basically what happens in that one is that Christopher Walken voices King Louis. And
it's fine. I don't need... No, you don't need to go any further than that. I think I get the gist.
Well, no, so I do need to explain this a little bit. Mowgli ends up in this sort of temple where the King Louis is, and there's all sorts of treasure and stuff littered around, and he picks up and rings a cowbell and then puts it down, and it was just like, that was a cowbell reference.
Do they linger on it? Is that the problem?
Yeah, it's just like it's like you didn't need to make that reference at all. There's no need. None of the kids who are watching this film are gonna get that.
Well,
why bother?
It's a live-action film of a remake of something that came out back in the late 60s or whatever the actual date was. That's more for the adults than anything. How is the movie besides that?
It's okay. Like, there were moments where I was watching it and just going, This is some really good CGI, and other moments where I was just like, no, this is Uncanny Valley for me right now.
I just don't understand the point of all the live-action remakes in the first place. Like, The Lion King, for example. That's
Yeah.
going to be live-action, but mostly... What's the point? You got a perfectly good fucking film from 1995 or wherever it came out.
Exactly, it's just like, why? And also then, they're doing the really stupid thing of they're cutting Be Prepared so that they can give bloody Beyonce a song.
Oh, go to hell.
I know, it's just like one of those moments where you just go, I'm sorry, what? It's also like, for the live-action Mulan, not only have they said that they're not including any of the songs, they've also cut Li Shang as a character. He doesn't exist anymore.
So, a character pivotal in the original film is no longer in the remake.
Yeah, they're going more along the lines of the original myth, which is just like, but the whole reason you're remaking it is because of the animated classic?
Yeah, it's not a remake of Mulan, Mulan, the myth. It's a remake of Disney's Mulan.
Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, we could really talk a lot about this, and in fact, when we go do Disney-thon this year, we definitely will do, because we are actually doing a few, well, I definitely know of one live-action remake that we're doing, as long as, you know, we can get a copy and all that does. But we will talk more about it then, but it's definitely a topic that really gets my goat.
It's inflamed my passion, I get you there.
But yes, this is the moment where it all went south.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it's just like I don't stand a chance.
Alright guys, that'll do it for this extras video. We'll see you next time for the finale of the whole playthrough.